It is the 6th today, right? Yes. No, it's the 4th.
Fourth.
And there we go. It is June 4th. I said June 6th. You know what? I didn't have my glasses on. That's, you know. Anyway, Larry Souza is here today. And yesterday was your meeting, your regular monthly meeting of Golden Rain Foundation. Nice to have you on.
Nice to be here, and I appreciate the time.
Sure, of course. And I know yesterday was a lot of different things went on in the meeting yesterday. And obviously, you gave the wrap-up, not the wrap-up, but, well, it was, of the most recent Recreation Master Plan Ad Hoc Committee meeting, and you did that a few days, or last week, actually, and you talked about that, quite a few other things as well, obviously.
I did. The meeting went well. It was, our attendance was fair. You know, we've had more, but maybe people were on vacation, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had some member comments. The member comments tended to revolve around the recalls that are going on right now. That's sort of, you know, we're sort of in a recall season, I think, is what it looks like.
It does seem to be that way.
And so there was a lot of comments about that. And of course, the master plan has always been a hot topic for some time. So anyway, in the report of the chair, one of the issues that has been kind of dogging everybody and dogging GRF is the fact that a lot has been said that everybody always says, how come you don't sit down and talk these things out? Well, we have offered that. So I went through yesterday and I offered, I pulled out some, I don't know, 8 or 10 correspondences between the two attorneys of GRF and United to show as far back as October 18th, GRF made an offer for mediation. And so they went back and forth, and in all honesty, United also wanted to do mediation. It wasn't just us.
Right.
The problem we had, the sticking point, was the fact that there were some conditions put on the mediation. That was what happened. That's what kind of threw the whole thing off the track. So I just read those. I read, you know, parts of it so people could understand, to get the point across, is that, you know, there has been some good faith on both sides of trying to do this. It's just that when United put these stipulations on there, it just kind of threw a monkey wrench in the whole deal. It just, GRF did not feel like we're going to quit doing the things that we're going to mediate. It's like, if I owe you some money, and we're going to mediate that money, I'm not going to pay it to you first, and I'm going to go mediate.
Right.
So that's kind of what that was about.
And I understand that, in that we see this sometimes when you have unions and corporations battle it out, and one side will, you know, they'll both say we want to mediate, and one side will say, well, we want this to happen before we mediate, and the other side, and it's just one of those things. You know, you have to. It seems as though both of you kind of stood your ground on that sticking point. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's
the way
right.
it was.
And I respect that. The other thing was we had a little discussion on the master plan. We had some of the board members who wanted to discuss the master plan and the loan. There again, I presented, they felt they hadn't had an opportunity to discuss it or to talk about it or whatever, and that was fine. But I went back and I showed where in the last 14 months, there was 20 opportunities to do that. We had 7 town hall meetings. We even had one in the evening to accommodate people that work, you know, so they could come in the evening and do it. We had all of the ad hoc meetings that we had. We had a couple that were canceled. But all in all, there was 20 opportunities. So I asked the question, you know, if you don't know about the master plan or you didn't get to put your 2 cents in, ask yourself why. Because it was out there. I wanted the residents to understand this wasn't something that was done in the dark of night or in some alley someplace or in the hallway. This has been going on since '08, the principal components of it. And it's been an ongoing project involving not just this board or last year's, but clear back to, you know, a lot of boards.
Right.
And the other thing is, you know, it's kind of like the big question has been representation. And, you know, out of all those 14 months, United was represented with 8 members on the board and 4 on the committee of 8. So it's not like, you know, a certain group wasn't, you know, they weren't represented very well.
Right.
So, and then I also read off in there where there were a lot of the decisions. So we had a couple of them that were unanimous decisions. Decisions to fund like $580,000 for one thing or $850 for another. These were unanimous decisions. So 9-to-1 decisions. I mean, these were, you know, they were overwhelmingly approved. So it wasn't just by the, you know, a little thin margin. So, you know, everybody can feel how they want to feel about it. I don't have a problem with that, but it's just that I wanted to make sure people understood that this wasn't something that, you know, last month we decided, boy, this would be neat to go ahead and spend $18 million.
Right.
It's been thought about for a long time. And the other thing was, it's being pointed out all the time that we're not doing what the plan said. Well, if we go back, and I also read that, where the plan was adopted as a guide. And I think people tend to forget that. It was something that was put out there for us. They had their recommendations, but also it was for us to put it into our community, for us to see how it would fit best for our residents.
Right.
So
Yes.
I get accused of defending this program. Well, I do. I'm going to defend it because I believe in it. I think it's a good program. This is one of the most comprehensive programs this community's ever seen in 50 years. It's all inclusive. It's going to affect more people overall than anything we've ever done. And we have a revenue stream now to help pay for it. It's just a golden opportunity this community's probably never had. And I'm saddened that possibly this thing is not going to, you know, come to fruition. So anyway.
Well, we've seen over the years, you know, this is true even in federal government, state government. Every year you have new people coming on the board. Every couple of years you have new people in our state assembly and things like that. And you get different people thinking a different way, which is how it should be. And a lot of different projects at this level, at that level, at the federal level, that look like they're going forward get stalled or rearranged. And I know people go, well, why does it take so long to get something done? And you know, this is one of the reasons, but it's set up this way.
That's the way it is. Absolutely correct. You know, they've been talking about building new dams up in the Sierras for the last 35 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing's changed. We have more people, more water usage, and now we have a drought, and where are the dams? They're still debating it. So you're right. I understand. Other than that, we had in some of our committee reports, we're going to do the golf teaching area. We moved that up 1 year, approved doing that. They're going to fix that up pretty nice.
And now, is that going to be the same area that the driving range over
Exactly.
in that area?
It's just the east of the driving range, right next to it there.
Okay,
right
this will
there.
be more one-on-one teaching?
Well, it's for
small
one-on-one
group?
teaching. It's
Okay.
just going to redo the area's not level. It's pretty, you know, it's kind of rough and stuff.
Right.
And so they're going to go ahead and fix that up so they can accommodate, you know, more groups, say like 2 or 3 groups of people. Right now, it's pretty limited to what they can do.
Exactly.
So, and the lessons are way up, way up. So
Oh, good.
They're giving a lot of lessons now.
That's great.
So
I could use one.
Yeah,
I
me
could
too.
use 10.
On the east side of Moulton, the new sidewalk they put in with the trees,
Yes.
all of those trees are coming out.
Yeah, I know the city's been talking about this.
Yeah, so it's going to be, I think the county is pulling them out of there. There's 27 trees, and we're going to store the trees over in Santa Maria for a couple of months while they get that all done. Then they're going to replant the trees
Great.
in other locations. The other issue that was on a lot of people's minds for a long time are the buses. You know, we had a couple of fires.
Yes.
And we got through that, and so, make a long story short, they had an abbreviated bus schedule, which seemed to work out very well. And I think residents overall responded well to it. I was glad to see that. Staff handled this very, very well. That was a very good job on their part. The fire suppression units are all in. There was a little delay, and they'll start installing those right away. And as they get installed in the buses will be put back online.
What are the status of those 2 buses and the replacement of them? I mean, I know this might be something you can't speak about because it's dealing with contracts, but with the company that sold the buses to us.
Yeah, that is, the insurance companies are
Okay.
involved in that, and so that's kind of, we're not really sure where that's going to go. That's
Okay.
kind of all tied up in
Okay.
whatever litigation and whatever stuff they got going. Yeah, so you're right. The buses were a total loss.
Right, yeah, yes, they were, yeah.
So, but we're installing the fire suppression in the other ones, and so that's going well. Also, the Energy Committee, we're looking at the LED lights. It's taking a little longer than a lot of people would like, but there's some things they have to go through, and staff is doing that. They've already installed some lights in the community center here on a trial basis. I believe up here and on the second floor, the LED lights, and as they learn more about them, they'll be installing more and more.
And I'm trying to think, Marcel was there.
Yes.
And he made a great point that I have personally gone through, that over the past year, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, the amount of LED lights has expanded so greatly
Yes.
by so many different companies and so many shapes and sizes.
That's right.
My kitchen, I have the little recessed lights, and as the fluorescent ones, the little spots go out,
Right.
I replace them. Well, just the other day, I was trying to look for the 2 LEDs that I have in there now. I have 6 lights total. And I'm like, okay, do these even exist anymore? In 1 year, they've changed.
Yeah.
So what do I get? And it's, I think one day, all these companies, and Philips, GE, and
Yeah.
Cree, and all these, there's going to be a cohesiveness there. So
Yeah.
you'll know, I need a bulb to replace a 100-watt bulb. I want this
Right.
brightness. It's very confusing right now.
I think the industry is kind of jockeying
They
a
are.
position to figure out, and then once they get that point, then it'll take off, and it'll be like buying an incandescent bulb.
Exactly.
You'll know
Yeah.
what you need, and it'll be there, it'll be done. So, anyway, so that's being worked on, and we're kind of excited about that also. The parking lot lights, they're again taking a little longer than what we like, but they're also, as Marcel explained yesterday, there's so many variations of lights, and the way it throws the light out, and the shades, and the heat, and it goes on and on. So,
Yeah, it
anyway,
does.
they're on the right track. The other thing, other than that, I mean, the meeting went well, and we, like I said, it was very civil. Everybody did very well. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about was the GRF recall. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, and I think that it's so important for residents. I have neighbors I know I could probably go to and ask them, do you live in Third or United? And they probably wouldn't know.
I've come across that too.
Yeah,
yes.
and I understand that. And you move here not to get involved in all this hubbub, and you want to retire, you want to play bridge, golf, whatever you're going to do, that's great. I admire the people who don't know where they live. I really do. I wish sometimes I didn't. but they're being retired, and that's what you come here for. But I'm afraid that I think residents need to wake up a little bit, and I think they need to kind of pay attention to what's going on. We've got recalls going on for United. We got a recall for GRF for the president and for the secretary, and
The treasurer.
I'm sorry, treasurer.
Yes.
That's right, not secretary, treasurer. Anyway, a lot of people seem to think that, oh, it's all about the money and it's about the recreation master plan, but it's not. It's about the governance of our community. And I think residents need to understand that. Our governance has worked for 50 years. Whether we like it or not, it has worked. We have not had any special assessments. The place looks pretty doggone nice. I'm sure if you want to go out with a fine-tooth comb, you can find something wrong with it. No doubt. I could go to anybody's house inside and find something wrong with it too, if we want to get that picky. But the point is that this community offers something that probably nobody else in the United States offers, with all of the amenities and the clubs. We had a board member talking about this is a community of homes with amenities, not amenities with homes. That's true. That's true. But without those amenities, you have a bunch of 50-year-old homes.
Right, that's true.
And I ask people always, Ask yourself why you moved here. Why did you move here? Did you move here because you found this drop-dead gorgeous place you wanted to move into? I doubt it. The ones that are drop-dead gorgeous, they got fixed. And people who moved into them fixed them up. And that's fine. They moved here because we have good security, we have great weather, we got a great location, and I don't care if you play tiddlywinks, whatever it is, we have a club for it.
A lot of unique things. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every sport, I mean, we have, everything from tennis to golf to, we have a new one at Clubhouse One that I can't even pronounce the name of it. It's something to do with bocce ball or.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I can't even tell you the name of it.
Yeah.
We've got a pickleball, paddle tennis, we've got everything here.
Yeah.
So.
And you've got a very unique things here that other communities don't have. You have obviously
exactly our own TV.
But I think even more importantly, a built-in social services department.
Absolutely.
I think above anything else.
Social service. Our
most
foundation,
communities don't have that.
Our
the
foundation does.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that but us. So I think people need to kind of reconcile with themselves and ask, okay, why am I here and do I like this? Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't like this. I called PCM and they didn't come for 3 days. Okay, that's a problem. Nobody is perfect. You know, when I first got on the board, I was kind of pretty critical of a lot of things. When you're new, you don't know,
right.
So you got to learn. And I asked another board member who'd been on for quite a while, and he mentioned to me, I said, how come it takes so long to do that? I said, you know, this lady's been waiting.
I remember you on the third board saying, why can't we just get this done?
Yes,
I remember that.
I agree, and I was so impatient, you know, but you have to learn. There's a process. There's, you know, he said, you know, if there's 100 calls and 95 of them get taken care of and 5 don't, that's 95%.
That's true.
In school, that's an A.
Yep, that's true.
So it kind of put everything into perspective. I think residents need to understand this community here at the community center, they get 10,000 calls a month. 10,000 a month.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, I think they do pretty well, you know, considering. I honestly believe that a lot of people are not quite aware of how big this community is and what it all entails. And I tell everyone, sometime around 4 o'clock or 4:30, take a drive over to the maintenance yard when all the trucks and all the trailers and everything are in, and drive up and down those aisles. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's true.
It's mind-boggling. It'll give you an idea what the size. I mean, we have like 80-some pickups and 80-some side-by-side. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's a big place.
Yeah, it is.
So I think that overall, we live in a pretty doggone nice place. And to be changing the governance, we've never had any special assessments. The system we have works. We're always, I think PCM is striving always to do better. I think they do a fantastic job.
Well,
so, yeah.
We appreciate you coming on, and we'll see what happens on June 13th.
Yes.
And I do want to remind people that replay the GRF meeting that played yesterday at 1:30 on Thursday, and then next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. It ran 3 hours, as you can see right there, and you went over quite a lot, and appreciate you coming on and spending your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Take care, Larry.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.